Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Sean here. I'm with my faithful co-host Dan. Hello, Dan. And you are listening to Zoobox Goes to the Movies. Today we're gonna be talking about the recently released Netflix documentary, Tell Me Who I Am, directed by Ed Perkins. I believe this is his first feature-length film. It's his first or second feature-length documentary. This is a documentary head. This guy, a lot of short documentaries in his filmography. A lot of short subjects. This is even though it's pretty tight though, it's 85 minutes, a tight 85. So like,
it's I think an hour and 20. Yeah, you're 85. Yeah.
Oh yeah, right on.
That's
the
math.
There.
That's
Yep. As I've gotten older, I've come to really appreciate things that are like 90 minutes.
90 minutes?
Yeah,
I don't know. I still love the long epics, man. I still love them.
Well, I watch a lot of horror movies, and I think like any horror movie that goes over 90 minutes is kind of a failure. It's a failure in my opinion.
I think
give me that
some of the
90.
best ones. Yeah, I agree with that. I think, but horror is a hard thing to keep going. That's a really hard thing to keep interesting, at least, or fresh for over an hour and a half.
I'd agree, because it's kind of like the same way with comedy, right? Like comedies and horror movies, generally 90 minutes is your sweet spot. You get into these
The Hangover Part 2, 3 hours. It's like 2.5 hours.
The Hangover Part 2?
I really don't know how long it is. I don't know.
You're talking like Judd Apatow movies. He makes comedy epics.
Oh, what was that? Funny People? That's like
3 hours, almost 3 hours long. It is not worth it either. Adam Sandler's good in it, but it's kind of a very mediocre film.
Yeah, everyone else is just themselves. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. That's a weird one.
It's a weird movie because it feels so pretentious and so like inside baseball. You could just like feel Judd Apatow jerking himself off, talking about like, because he's like, oh, this is the process. This is the process. This is the artistic comedy process. He's one of those guys.
Yeah.
I've heard him on plenty of podcasts to know that's how he is, Judd Apatow.
And then you got Paul Thomas Anderson, who probably likes. Doesn't he like shitty movies and everything? All right, we're getting off track here. Okay, hold on. First and foremost, we can't be doing this to our fucking loyal fans who just went and watched Tell Me Who I Am, or if they're about to go watch Tell Me Who I Am on Netflix streaming now.
Yes.
This overall general impressions, man.
Well, that's what we're gonna have to be very vague in general. So this first part's gonna be very short.
Yeah, we're talking, guys. You get a minute, maybe two, because I don't know what else we can say.
You can't really say anything. Not that, actually, this is part of a broader conversation that's kind of interesting, that all documentaries now have to be like mystery boxes for people to watch them because of true crime stuff. Just because the way they build those shows and documentaries nowadays, that's what people want. But so every documentary now is built like that, especially on Netflix. It feels like everything is like a mystery. But I would say my general impressions, right off the bat, this is a 5-star movie. It's about responsibility and amongst like literal brothers, and like the kind of I don't know. Help me out here. What did you think?
What did I think? It's an emotional film.
Yeah, it definitely sticks with you.
Dude, you don't. It haunting, I think, is a good word for it in a lot of ways. I think it's a movie almost about, if I had to give it one word that fully describes the movie, or like one maybe statement, be the process of healing and healing. Sure, or healing in general, and whether it's relationships or sacrifice also is probably a good word. There's a lot of things about this movie that really, when you're watching it, there's a whole sway of emotions, and for yourself as the viewer, not even necessarily about the character. Well, they're not characters; they're people. But you're sitting there and you're just kind of, oh my God, because you put yourself in this person's shoes. And how would you feel? And then, and now when people watch this, just go with an open mind and enjoy it, and really, really do pay attention and enjoy it. It's not some cheesy documentary where it's I don't.
This movie is made to make you cry. Like, no matter how strong of a badass you think you are, you're gonna want to drop tier on this one.
I'll be honest, and I did not cry. I did tear up. I got misty eyed. I did not. I got a little misty eyed. But the one, if people want to go watch another documentary, maybe we can review this one later or something. But Dear Zachary, I think it's on Amazon Prime. If you want to go watch it, don't look anything up. Just go in with a blank slate and just go watch it. That's an amazing documentary. Really good.
Stay in that mystery box on Dear Zachary, because that's the best way to experience that. Which is, it's like I said, it's kind of weird in a sense to say that, like, because you're watching a movie about a real person's life, and you're like, hey man, make sure their pain is still exciting for you. But it's just, as a film, it is best experienced, and I think the same way with Tell Me Who I Am, with those little. Knowing nothing about it. I literally knew nothing about this.
See, that's why when you brought it up to me, I was like, don't say anything. If it's good, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dan and I are documentary heads. We're doc heads.
Okay? Yeah, I think we like film, any format.
We generally enjoy a good documentary.
Oh, there's nothing better. Senna, another amazing documentary. That's about Formula One.
Yeah, the guy who made Senna actually made another movie about a Brazilian soccer player. And I have not watched it. Pele. Oh, is that who it is?
I think so. Yeah,
it was on HBO. Sure.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah,
I'm not a big soccer. I didn't realize how much I was into Formula One until I watched.
I was going to say, you're not a big soccer guy. I was like, well, we weren't big Formula One guys either. And
I'm telling you, dude, Senna's probably my top. It's in my top 2.
But it's also, it's a testament to that filmmaker, because he just really makes something that would be completely foreign to me and you, and makes it completely accessible and builds a story.
Relatable, yeah.
You really understand where this guy is coming from. I would say the difference with something like that, which is pure narrative. This is like more first-person testimony kind of thing. Testimonials almost, like with these two twin brothers. And the thing that makes the documentary so effective, and it would not work, you guys they're 54 years old or something like that, and they have something between them, and there's a candidness and there's a lifetime of experience that comes that. You really feel the weight of their words. You really believe them, and that's what makes it interesting. So that's all I gotta say without having to get into the story. Like I said, for me, it's a 5-star movie. What out of 5 stars do you give it, Dan?
Yeah, let's just go with that. 5. It's up there. 4.55. There might be. I could have one criticism, I think, of it that I could say it's not bad. Just a little. It bothered me watching it.
Okay. What was that? What was
well, I mean, we can't. We gotta go out of the spoiler zone.
Okay, gotcha.
Gotta move. Okay. Into the
so we're gonna go into the spoiler zone. You've been warned. Pew pew pew. Entering the spoiler zone.
Yeah, baby.
All right, so right off the top, what's your criticism?
1, there wasn't enough rape, in my opinion. No, I'm kidding. That's terrible. Am I breaking up a little bit? Okay, sorry about that, guys. Little technical difficulties. We might run into them a little bit.
I'll try to slice it out.
Yeah, right. But I paused, so. Anyway. There definitely wasn't enough rape for me. I think I needed a little bit more. Child rape.
More child rape.
I mean, okay, and this is my seriously though. My real criticism is they it's not even a bad thing. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just going, why did they wait till the documentary?
Because I think they needed something to compel the older, or not the older brother, but the brother who knew what happened to them in a overwhelming way. I do think there's probably a little backstory that's maybe missed from this documentary, because the documentary is so straightforward.
Maybe.
And so you know what I mean? It's just telling this story, and you're not getting all the background info on what led them to become part of a documentary. You know what I mean? I believe there's a book. They wrote a book.
Yeah, it came out in 2013.
Yeah. So they filmed this a while ago. Because this... So I guess we should just say up front, so this is about 2 twin brothers. One of them, when he's 18, gets into a motorcycle accident.
I thought he was 14.
No, he was 14
No, he was
14.
He was 14 when it happened. Yeah.
All right. So he was 14, gets into a motorcycle accident, loses all of his memory. He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know who his family is. But he has this recognition with his twin brother because they are identical twins. And so he knows that, like, okay, well, I know that you're actually my brother. So he kind of just believes everything his brother tells him. And so as it becomes revealed in the documentary, is that they were victims of sexual abuse at the hands of their mother, and their mother used to pimp them out basically to like rich and powerful people in the area and in like London and stuff. This happened over in the UK, and
that shit is fucking.
And he's kept a secret from his brother because he didn't want his brother. He's like, well, if you don't remember it, like I don't want to give you that pain. And it becomes way more complicated than that. But that's the general gist of it. Like he didn't want to tell his brother that their mother had sexually abused him, that she was a pedophile, and that
because he loved her. That was the big thing that
that he loved his mother, Alex.
Alex, the one with memory loss, absolutely adored and loved his mother.
Yeah.
And that was like I think another thing, and that was also the brother that had his memory that never lost it. It was a way for him to forget about it in a way, and they talk about that.
Yeah, it became a way for him to he used it as a way to cope and a way to just move on, because the abuse kind of stopped when they were younger. They stopped when they were around 14, and there's kind of like this scenario that's described that his mother brings him to London and drops him off to some big shot artist house, and the guy starts abusing him, and he just decides like, fuck this, I don't want to do this anymore. And he somehow gets out of the clutches of this pedophile. It's kind of silent clowns. They don't say anything to each other. And then they kind of just move on with their lives. It's just never talked about again. And the abuse stops completely. Yep. And
yeah, well, I mean, we don't have to tell them, though. I mean, like, they watched it, Sean.
Well, yeah, I guess.
I mean, we don't need to tell them the story, right?
You're right. I'm trying to give context just in case anybody just says fuck it and they decide to listen anyway.
Fair enough. But there's I think the way the movie made me feel most of the time, because I knew it was going to be weird just by what you said. You're, oh man, it gave me chills. I was like, shut up, I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, like that's good enough for me. If it makes, because you don't feel anything anymore. So if you, so I knew when you said that, I was like, this is, and I had a really, because Sean, you've been slipping.
Have I been slipping?
In a way that you just don't realize. And I knew immediately, the moment you said it gave you chills, I knew immediately what it was about.
Oh,
I knew.
Yeah. I have a thing, like anything that has to do with children.
Kids, yeah.
Because I have a son. Dude. Yeah.
Yeah, like you were sitting there and you're like, oh my God, it all. Like I was like, yep, this is something to do with kids, man. I knew it.
I this is completely tangential, but like the first time I ever really, cried during a movie. I had teared up before. Got a little misty, maybe had a couple tears roll down my cheek before, but I full on ugly face cried at this movie called Grave of the Fireflies. It was after my kid was born, and I was
pretty good.
That's when I knew that I was different. That's when I knew I was less cynical and I cared. Almost reminded me how much I cared about my kid. It was weird because you watch it's an anime too. It's like this historical anime. It's not like a fantasy or anything like that. It's like they could have made a straight up live action movie out of this.
Right.
And it would have been exactly the same, but it's about these kids that are kind of victims of World War II. And both their parents die because of the war, and they get kind of just shuffled to their aunt's house, and they end up basically.
Is it worth watching? You would say.
Yeah. Oh, it's incredible.
I'll give it a shot and let anybody else out there if they want to go watch. It's called what?
It's called The Grave of the Fireflies. It's a Studio Ghibli. They did Spirited Away and.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Princess Mononoke. Same. I think it's the same guy who did Mononoke.
Mononoke.
But I full on ugly face cried. But yes, this movie took me a couple days to shake off because I have you and definitely definitely triggered me a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely. I can see it is triggering in ways. I think anybody who watches this, if you have some sort of moral compass, you're gonna feel.
Well, it's not just moral compass. If you have like a
Something.
brother or somebody you've ever felt some kind of loyalty or affinity for or something, you had to tell them something awful. You know, like that moment towards the end of the movie when the brother that knows, I can't remember. I'm like so sorry, guy. I can't remember your name. I know Alex is the only reason I remember the brother without that has the memory loss. His name is Alex is because the other dude almost crying while trying to say his name.
It's Alex and Marcus.
Okay, Marcus. Marcus is the one that knows. And Marcus is talking to Allie, and he just can't bring himself to say it to his face. Like, so he had to put it on tape.
Yeah, no, that whole scene was interesting. And that was a unique way to end it. I feel like it's a little melodramatic, and this is where the little bit of the criticism, it does seem so, it has to be staged, I know, but it's sometimes it just felt a little too staged.
Well, it is staged in the sense that they purposely decided to do this on camera.
No, I know, and I know that,
yeah,
and so it's not a huge criticism, you know. But it would have, you know, it would have been a cooler documentary to me. Now this is just would have been more interesting, I think, or compelling.
What's that?
If they would have just, hey, you know, we wrote this book, or maybe he didn't find out until like a couple years ago, and then then it's all recent, so you have this more like you could say true crime, and he's discovering stuff with the crew. That would be kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like really getting in there.
Well, his that was the whole thing. Like Marcus knew, his brother didn't know, and like this is a kind of a case where you understand where both people are coming from. You understand why Marcus wants to protect his brother, and one of the most beautiful and powerful moments of the movie when he just admits it. He's just like, I was trying to save myself too. Like if I say this out loud, it just happens again. You know, and that's it was kind of incredible. Like it was an incredibly powerful moment. I was very moved in that moment.
Well,
but
that's
what's
go
that?
ahead. Sorry, no, you're good.
No, you're good. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say that when they actually let you watch, because what I thought they were gonna pull some Grizzly Man shit on me and not let me hear. I was about to be fucking bullshit. I was about to. This is fun. I did this. I worked for this. I listened to all the possibility this could get molested this entire time, and I don't get the juicy details. This is bullshit. But they do show him, and that when he's just, and it's a very 5 minutes or something, and he just
it's basically just 5 minutes as the dude talking at the camera, and it's
fucked,
and it's very understated, and it's not like overly dramatic. That's how you know it's real.
Oh, it's genuine. No, dude, he's doing the whole lip quiver thing, and he's fucking trying not to cry.
No, but even that though, like when he's telling most of it, he's pretty straightforward because that's how you are when you're recollecting something to a stranger. It's not until he actually sees his brother. He has to be face to face with his brother, Alex. Like he just gets like that's when it's too much.
Yeah.
Because it makes it real. You know, I think anybody that's ever had any kind of trauma or had anything ever happen to them, like that in a way that could affect other people, like, you know, that is when it becomes hard because it makes it real. It's not real if it's just in your head in some respect.
Yeah.
And but I also understood where Alex was coming from too. I understood my life, like, and how do I make peace with that? Like, and I understood that as well. Like, I get it. I got it. But I did feel bad for Marcus.
Marcus really got drugged. But then again, you know, I think since it was so far removed from the situation, it made it easier, you know.
I think to a certain extent, for sure, yeah. I think, you know, they say time heals all wounds or whatnot. But the problem with this, in this sense, is that this had been suppressed their entire life. I still can't get over the sex trafficking. That's the worst part. Well, that's the thing that it leaves open this weird door. You're like, okay, so there's this community of kind of like well-to-do pedophiles.
Well, they're a very affluent family.
Well, it seemed like they were like lower upper class, right? They were like on the lower end of the upper class.
Oh, lower end of But they had connections, you know, and
yes, they were obviously well connected, and this must have been part of that, like the system of swapping kids around and stuff. I bet it was not that. I bet it wasn't just them.
Oh, I don't know, man. That shit was fucking terrifying, though. Just to sit there and you're just like, mother of God.
Yeah, it's like, even though you kind of knew something like that was coming, but it still felt like a gut punch.
No, I didn't think the mom. I did not see the mom sex trafficking them.
I
know they alluded to it with the money and the curtains and shit, but
what I think they actually were trying, it was like, as they were doing like a filmmaking trick where they wanted you to think that it was the dad. Like, it was a storytelling trick, right? They gave us a red herring. They gave you all this red meat about their asshole dad and how Marcus didn't like their dad.
Right.
Only to find out that their dad just, I guess his dad was just a prick. But they say in the documentary their dad probably had no idea, which I don't.
Or they just had no way to know if he knew or not, you know.
Yeah. So, but Marcus, I guess, on his deathbed wouldn't forgive him. But so it makes you think. It plants the seed of like, oh, it's the dad. And then once their mom passes away, they're at their mom's house going through her things, and they find like this secret compartment and a dresser, and they find the key and they open it up, and it's like this headless picture of them when they were kids, just naked.
She was fucking creaming to it, dude.
Yeah, not good.
Ooh. Oh, I mean, I don't know, man. There was definitely some stuff in there when they found that picture. I remember the feeling of me being, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that necessarily. And
you just say what you just, like the last you just said. You cut out.
Oh, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that whole picture. Then they find it, and then it kind of just, that must have been such a weird situation, because he just kind of tells them in the kid, were we sexually abused? And he's like, yes. And then they don't really talk about it for 20 years or whatever.
Yeah, and then he doesn't want to get into it any further. I mean, I assume that he tried to over the years, and the guy just would not give in. He couldn't understand why. His brother wanted to know.
But but you know why, right? You know what happened after the movie came out.
What happened?
Alex killed himself. No, I mean Marcus did. No,
he didn't.
Marcus is dead.
Are you serious?
No, I'm just fucking with you.
Okay.
Would have made it better though.
That's fucked up, man. That's fucked up.
You're just like
because I just saw. I thought I saw pictures of them at like a screening or something.
But wouldn't that be fucking nuts, dude?
Would it be nuts? That'd be super tragic.
It would be tragic, but all for the sake of comedy. Anything's open and free on this podcast.
Well, I'm not chastising you for making an awful joke.
Yeah, it was pretty funny though, in my opinion. Whether it's good or not.
I'm over here laughing my ass. I'm creaming over here, just like that lady with that picture. In the Middle East, they call them pleasure boys.
They do. They're in. I think it's Afghanistan. Yeah, Afghanistan is really known for. All Middle Eastern countries. Turkey's not necessarily like that, but this whole thing really makes you consider some serious questions. And I would say overall, I mean, this is something I'm gonna watch again. For me, dude, I will watch it again.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't know if I would watch it again, to be honest with you. But I did. I was super. I'll never have that impact again, and I don't think it's so well made that I'm like, well, I'm like in awe of the craft. It's just, I take that back. I have a penchant for human interest stories, and the way those guys are, and it's such a rare thing to see in another human being. That kind of transparency, that kind of vulnerability.
Yeah. And English people do the best narrations for documentaries.
Well, they weren't doing narrations. They were being interviewed, and
but that, you know what I'm saying?
It together.
It turns into a narration, does it not?
I did like that, though. I like that it was how simple it was.
Yeah, it was just interviews
and old photographs, and it was basically just the two brothers. They're the only voices you hear.
And that's what made it felt like an investigation.
Well, it made it feel very intimate. It made it feel intimate to me. Like you felt like you're part of this conversation they're having.
This is weird, but do you know what documentary I was thinking of almost the entire time?
What?
Touching the void, whatever.
Yeah.
just the voices. I was in there. That's another great documentary. It's about mountain climbers. Fantastic. I don't know. I enjoyed the entire premise. Was an interesting premise, and I think it really it leaves me wanting to know more about the situation in the family. But as far as where, why, how, but they didn't seem too concerned about it. Honestly.
Well, because I think that was. I would suggest that they're not. It's not that they're not concerned. It's just not what the purpose of the documentary was.
Oh no, I'm just saying. Like how did I want to know who these? Because he said one of them was a famous painter.
Yes,
artist.
I'm sure that they've dealt with that in a different way. But it's also, you got to remember, this happened 30 years ago.
It was Picasso.
It was Picasso. He was alive. I swear.
What year did Picasso die?
It was Orson Welles.
I mean, he would have been like 40. Because was he 18 when he crashed, or was he 14? Because now I'm thinking you might have been right.
I feel like he was 18. I could be wrong though.
Well, because they could go to the pub, but dude, over there it's weird. You can drink at like fucking a young age and shit in the pubs. I don't know. I don't know.
I know.
Especially 40 years ago.
Yeah,
whatever.
Especially in the 70s. Yeah.
Yeah, where nothing. I don't know. I just remember them because I even was thinking that watching. Well, what was a 14-year-old doing on a motorcycle? That's what I was thinking. So what the fuck? But then again, obviously these parents really did not give a shit about them.
And they also kind of lived out there. They lived out in farm country, like in beautiful farm country.
Yeah, I guess it would be equivalent as growing up on a farm, having a dirt bike, and you're 10, 12 years old, ripping around, right?
That's where I kind of gave me that impression.
Yeah,
I mean, there was all sorts of weirdness we didn't even talk about, like the fact that they lived in the shed.
Oh yeah, the shed
next.
Well, I have a question because I don't know this. I don't remember if it was covered.
So there was all sorts of other like weirdness stacked upon the situation.
Well, I think the weird part. Sorry guys, if you're hearing weird stuff, technical difficulties. Well, it's nothing that we can really fix it right now. But anyway, so what I was looking at was, did they get moved up to the shed after he stopped?
No, it's implied that they were out there while they were being abused. Like, because she would take one of them and the other one would be there alone.
Yeah, I guess I was a little. I guess that makes, because they're showing the room the entire time.
Well,
I just know they said. I thought they said in the beginning they didn't move out there till they were 14. Maybe they were 12.
Because Marcus, they thought it was because of their dad, and then when their dad dies, they realize like, oh no, it's actually because of mom. So
that was all Alex. Marcus knew it was up.
No, well, yeah, but what I'm saying is she has this. She was keeping like a weird distance because she was a pedophile. She was abusing them. This was a way to kind of dehumanize them. Like it's a separation.
No,
they're animals. They're pets. They're not your kids. Almost, Like I'm talking from a psychological perspective of why you would do that to your kids.
It was definitely. That shit would be pretty terrifying. But they said they loved the independence when they were younger, which who wouldn't? But I guess, Marcus was really a hero, man. Marcus was like,
where do you fall? Where do you fall on the ethical side of whether he should or should not have told his brother? Where do you fall on that?
Are you saying in the beginning when they or however old they were? Should he have told him everything from that day?
Yeah. What would you just in general? Like, well, I guess you can compartmentalize.
No, I would 100. If the same scenario, same situation, I don't know if I would have been smart enough to lie about it. To be totally honest, that took a lot of foresight. That took a lot. But then again, if you've been brutally molested for years, it seems
might give you some perspective. Yeah.
Yeah. You might just be like, dude, I don't. Because he knows how terrible it was. And they were obviously Marcus was fairly mature. So, from what it seemed.
What was that? What did you say?
I was just saying Marcus is fairly mature. Was probably, obviously, for his age.
Yeah.
So there was definitely. I don't know. I would say I would hope I would lie. I would choose to lie if I can make that choice. I think I agree with Marcus.
I agree. I totally understood where Marcus is, because why wouldn't you spare somebody that, let alone your brother? Like, why wouldn't you spare them that? If they can just never know that happened to them and get to kind of live a happy life, why wouldn't you try to do that?
You know, it's
So
a similar movie.
It was pretty honorable in a weird way, and like him taking on this burden for the both of them, where it's something that clearly probably it seemed like it is clearly taking a toll on him, even physically. If you look at the two of them.
Oh, I don't know, Sean, but I'm pretty sure I just witnessed the new Messiah, Marcus Christ.
Marcus Christ, yeah.
He took on the sins of the world, man. That's what he did. I mean,
it gets murkier when they're older, because if at some point you got to be like, okay, you're gonna keep fucking bothering me.
No,
or maybe he really didn't bother him that much about it.
I think he kind of moved on, and he's like, why do you need to know? Why do you need to know that you were about this terrible thing? It has no effect on your life, because that's what he says.
Yeah,
he says that, and I really do kind of almost relate it to, in a strange way, the Martin Scorsese film Silence, in that sense, you know.
Yeah, I can see that parallel in the sense of like, just like, don't ask too many questions, because you might talk yourself out of your faith. Might talk yourself out of your happiness, your purpose.
Yeah, you know, and or in that sense of sometimes silence is the best thing you can do, not just for your. You can still be. He was still being a good brother in his silence, and the truth. You know, the truth just brought a lot of pain and suffering.
Yeah, and that's what I go back to. I thought the moment of like self-awareness when he was like, "I did it for me." I thought. It was kind of very powerful, like very like beautiful.
Well, it was honest. It was honest.
You know, having that catharsis and coming to terms with his own behavior and what happened to him. I mean, even for him, he got a lot of closure out of this, it seems like, or potentially could get a lot of it, because he couldn't ever really move on, because he knew he had this thing, and now maybe he's free of it now. I don't know.
Well, yeah, because Alex isn't fucking bugging him every Thanksgiving. Hey man, we're gonna talk about this shit too. Like, what's up? You know, and it was at the end of the day worth a watch. Go watch it, and if you've obviously already watched it, tell us what you think about it. That's what I would say. You know? Yeah,
I'd be interested. I don't know if our audience would be so into this, but
I'm gonna tell you right now, dude.
I think you'd be surprised if you got a fucking pulse, right? Like if you have the ability to be moved by something.
Yeah,
I think it's definitely worth your time. I mean, to me, it was. I love stuff like this, so.
I love documentaries, and I think it's up there. It's not going to be. I would say put it in top 10.
You would put it in your top 10 of all time?
Top 10 of all time that at least I can think of right now. Yeah. You know, if I had to go quick.
But what like impressed you the most, or what do you felt was the most so impactful?
The reality of the situation, I think. The reality
the way it was put together, is it?
No. I mean, that obviously has an effect, but what I'm saying is the reality of it. It's just a story put together in a very interesting way that is about sexual survivors, you know, or sexual assault. What is it?
Abuse survivors.
Abuse survivors, you know, and they did okay in their lives. Marcus did well, and it seems like they're on their feet, you know.
I think that's another respectable thing I think about this documentary, is that it does not get into some kind of weird victimology. It says like, no, we had a life. Like we fucking, it did not define us. Or at least for Marcus, he's like, it didn't define me. But I mean, that's something like that happens to you, that's obviously going to have an effect on you, and you're obviously going to carry it with you. Like, well, it doesn't have to become like what dictates every decision you make or what you feel you're capable of, you know?
Oh, I agree.
And in that respect, I have a lot, because you could see the other version of this documentary where it was all about them being victims, and not to say that they weren't victims; they're all clearly victims, but that they had the strength and the will to live on, I guess.
Well, I think Marcus just packed it away when he was young. He admits that's why he did what he did. Is why he was silent for so long. He didn't want to think about it. He didn't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
And now that they're older, and I mean, hey, I know why they did it is because they wrote a book, and maybe they want to sell more, and maybe that's it. Maybe that's it.
Well, I think the book and the documentary were done in conjunction with one another.
Yeah, but you gotta tell me right now you haven't thought about getting that book though.
The book might elucidate some of what you're wondering about for sure.
I know. I bet they go into, but this is the thing though. Marcus never told him back then, so he wouldn't have any way to.
Yeah, but we don't know when they shot this. They could have shot this 6 years ago. If you're a low budget independent filmmaker, it's just one guy or something. This might have taken him 6 months, 6 years to put together.
Yeah.
Or maybe they could have had some weird deal with a publisher that on contingent of so many years removed from the publication of the book.
I guess so. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I honestly have
because they talk about the book like it was written 10 years ago or something.
Yeah.
They make it seem like it had been a while. But either way, it's fine. I'm not criticizing it for, maybe trying to make a buck, whatever. I mean, if you got sexually assaulted or molested as a child, I guess you can if you can make a couple bucks off of it.
Yeah.
Who am I to judge? Who am I to judge?
I also think it's an inspiring story in its own weird way.
It is. It is. Listen, man. No one's going to go out and make a documentary not to make money on it. So I'm not going to judge him for that. But it did. That's the only thing that it is what it is. It's not like ABC when, huh?
Repeat that. Repeat the last thing you said because we didn't catch it.
Oh, what I was saying is it's not like they went on and did a 60-minute interview or an ABC interview that was covered up by ABC, because at the end of the day, do you know what they're gonna find out, Sean? Someday.
What's that?
Jeffrey Epstein's their brother.
Oh.
And that's the one son that she really loved because she had sex with that general. Remember that shit, dude?
That's right.
Fucking boom, dude. Right there.
Colonel Epstein.
Colonel Sanders Epstein.
That's Lieutenant Colonel, you bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, dropping the fucking impeachment puns. Nice.
Yeah. Getting into very topical.
Very topical. Like a topographical map.
Yeah, so obviously we really liked it. You should watch it. It's on Netflix. It came out in mid-October. But yeah, it's super moving. It's something that it will definitely stay with me for a while. It took me a couple days to shake it off a little bit. I was like, oh, felt like I was kind of living with it.
To be totally honest, those are the types of things I would prefer to watch and do one of these. I want to watch it and then hop on. That's something that we need to do someday. When we both get a documentary, it's really good, and we think it's going to be good. I think that to me, at least with documentaries, because I love them so much. You
want your immediate gut reaction, not your ruminated reaction, you thought about it for a day?
Out the gate. Nothing's changed since I thought about it. It's I fucking...
No, for something like that, I think it's your emotions are the thing. You actually... It's what makes that so effective is I have memories of my own emotions while watching it.
Yeah.
And that is what makes it so impactful in a weird way. I have sense memory of how sad it made me.
Yeah. Yeah.
When he was trying to tell his brother, or beg his brother not to... and I watched it at the weirdest time, too. I started it at 6:30, and Foster's playing with his toys. I was like,
yeah.
Oh boy, here we go. my wife was like, "What the fuck are you watching?" I was like, "Shut up, bitch! Don't you ever speak to me like." Not really. No, but she was like, "What are you watching?" I was like, "Just shut up. Just go to the good part."
Yeah, it's to anybody, just go give it a chance. Let us know what you think. Some other documentary suggestions I have that are some of my favorites. It's Senna, Senna. Can't spell.
Dear Zachary.
Dear Zachary is a really good one. There's that one. The weird country bumpkin guy.
Oh, Stevie.
Stevie's a pretty good one.
Stevie's that's a little hard to watch, but yeah.
Yeah, that shit's fucking.
Because Stevie's
Speaking
he's
of Tell Me Who I Am.
he's a degenerate. He's a guy who's got like a, I don't know what's the proper term. What's the PC term? Mentally handicapped guy.
No, he's got some form of autism, or
Yeah.
He's on the spectrum.
He's not
on the
like
spectrum. Do you know what he didn't he have? Oh yeah.
It's like maybe a 5 out of 10. He's very functional, has full cognitive abilities.
He's got
there's
Asperger's.
another one
it's
I
like
watched.
Asperger's.
Yes.
Diane
Yeah,
or whatever.
Dina? Dude,
Dina.
That's another one will fuck you up at the end. You gotta get to the end, but it'll fuck you up.
That's a good one.
Dina's a good one. That's also about a person with mental disabilities, mentally handicapped person. What I just had it in my brain. Dark Days, about the
homeless people in New York.
homeless bums in New York. That's a good one. If you can find these, you're not gonna be able to find Dark Days. Dark Days is probably gonna be kind of hard to track down.
The Imposter.
The Imposter is that one is very slick.
Yeah.
It's slick.
Very.
The same thing like Exit Through the Gift Shop. Did you ever see that?
I don't think I've ever watched that one.
Oh, you would love that. You would like it. You should watch it.
I'll check it out then.
I think it's on Hulu.
I've seen it somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, if you've never seen Exit Through the Gift Shop, don't look anything up until you watch it, and then watch it.
Okay. Sounds good.
I think you'd like that. But yeah. I don't know. Any closing thoughts?
Go watch it, man. That's what I would say. Go watch it. Let's go check it out. Just don't watch it with people that are pussies or kids.
Don't watch it with anybody who's gonna fuck your strap. Don't let Dave or Gary try to fuck with you, man.
And also fuck child molesters and child predators and
Yep. As soon as I get my pet
Kill 'em all.
hunter license, it's coming in the mail any day now.
any day.
And I guess I'll close out with this. Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself.